In biology, cloning is the process of producing similar populations of genetically identical individuals that occurs in nature when organisms such as bacteria, insects or plants reproduce asexually. Cloning in biotechnology refers to processes used to create copies of DNA fragments, molecular cloning, cells, cell cloning, or organisms. Organism cloning, also called reproductive cloning, refers to the procedure of creating a new multicellular organism, genetically identical to another. In essence, this form of cloning is an asexual method of reproduction, where fertilization or intergamete contact does not take place. In 2013, a group of scientists led by Shaukat Maitlyapov published the first report of embryonic stem cells created using SCNT. In this experiment, the researchers developed a protocol for using SCNT in human cells, which differs slightly from the one used in other organisms. 4 embryonic stem cell lines from human fetal somatic cells were derived from those blastocysts. All 4 lines were derived using oocytes from the same donor, ensuring that all mitochondrial DNA inherited was identical. A year later, a team led by Robert Lanza at Advanced Cell Technology reported that they had replicated Maitlyapav's results and further demonstrated the effectiveness by cloning adult cells using SCNT. There is a lot of ethical debate over whether or not cloning should be used. Cloning has been proven to work before, the list of cloned creatures going up to officially 22. Some examples are car, cat, deer, dog, horse, sheep, wolf and others. But is cloning a human being even possible? Human cloning is the creation of a genetically identical copy of a human. The term is generally used to refer to artificial human cloning, which is the reproduction of human cells and tissue. It does not refer to the natural conception and delivery of identical twins. Although the possibility of cloning humans had been the subject of speculation for much of the 20th century, scientists and policymakers began to take the prospect seriously in the mid-1960s. In 2015, over 70 countries had an active ban on human cloning. The technology for cloning a human being is not far from reality, perhaps even possible at this time. However, due to the delicate nature of the subject, every new advances in the field are kept under lock and key, most likely for release in the future. Cloning a human could have highly rewarding results for that person, as in organ harvesting, blood transfer and much more. Advocates support development of therapeutic cloning in order to generate tissues and whole organs to treat patients who otherwise cannot obtain transplants, to avoid the need for immunosuppressive drugs, and to stave off the effects of aging. Advocates for reproductive cloning believe that parents who cannot otherwise procreate should have access to the technology. Some opponents of reproductive cloning have concerns that technology is not yet developed enough to be safe. For example, the position of the American Association for the Advancement of Science as of 2014, while others emphasize that reproductive cloning could be prone to abuse, leading to the generation of humans from whom organs and tissues would be harvested, and have concerns about how cloned individuals could integrate with families and with society at large. There were many surveys on the subject of cloning, and while most of the population was against it at first, when asked if someone close to them was severely sick or wounded, would they then be for cloning or against it if this process would result in the complete recovery of the person, they changed their answer to a positive one. While cloning a human has a lot of benefits, there are also many negative effects. Some claim that cloning would give the governments complete power against their citizens, and political leaders would be able to use cloning as a weapon to get rid of the competition. Free speech would be a thing of the past, since any vocal opposer of regime would simply be replaced. For now, cloning seems a thing of the future, and we'd rather not get into it very seriously, but that is a grave mistake, for there are those with the power and the funding necessary to run such a program and keep it well hidden, only to use it at their own agenda. We are beings that possess great intelligence and a limited lifespan. It would be wrong for us to say that cloning will never be used to try and achieve a longer lifespan, if not immortality. Cloning has endless uses and bring up endless problems. When those problems and negative effects could be prevented, then perhaps the cloning process will be brought back to the table. Until then we can only speculate on what the impact could really be.